Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Monday Sparks with the Teams with Hugo. Today's topic is about time and the perception of time. And it comes as I watch a documentary this weekend about the breakthroughs in physics and how time and the brain work together. And the interesting part of that the brain does not necessarily have a clock. So our perception of time and how the brain perceives time is quite unique. And that is why it can be almost considered as a ripple effect on the pond. So the first, you see the first ripple and then the second ripple, and that's how time is perceived on the brain, the difference between the first ripple and the second. However, when it goes for a longer period of time and how we are perceiving it changes, yeah? So for example, if we are staring at an angry face for 5 seconds, it can look like much longer. That's why also sometimes we are thinking about, oh, the year just flew by, and it feels that we had done so much, and at the same time it is perceived as it just passed by, like in a fluke. It's also why sometimes our brain thinks that our childhood is, at a certain time so far away, but at the same time it feels so close by. It feels that, oh, it was just like yesterday that I was in university. So this perception of time changes quite a lot. And why it's important to understand how the brain perceives time is mostly because it can also change the way we perceive our investments and what we do next and what we do today, what matters to us. So if we are looking at our career in the scope of the next 1 to 3 years, we can have a perception that, okay, a lot of has to be done and learned for us to evolve in the next 3 years. But if you look at the context of, for example, 40 years, yeah, and if you are going to think of the methodology or the thinking that we might work from the 30s until the 80s with the continuous development of longevity, you start to shift a bit of the mindset, yeah, because you are looking at, oh, I have so much time to build my career, and what should I do to master something that I really value, and it gives me a lot of energy, and that changes the paradigm. So that's what I mean by time and the brain and the paradigm, which is like if you look at the percentage of time, try to have different perceptions for the same cause. So if you want to put a lot of investment on a relationship, you might have to think about like what the kind of relationship you want to develop, and that's how you start to think about the different variances of time and future. You stretch the paradigm. If especially at work, if you are managing teams, a problem might seem much bigger. It might seem that it's never solved on the short run because you are intensively looking at it. So it keeps on rippling it. But if you start looking on the context of the next 3 years, that problem might dissipate and not matter at all. So that's why today I wanted to bring the concept of time and how do you perceive time, and try to empower you to think about a different perception of time and to play with them, play with it. Play with, for example, how you want to be a better leader or a better manager, or even how you want your career to move forward. But think of a different landscapes of career and the different landscapes of time so that you can like stretch and shorten it depending on how you want to perceive it. And with that, you might gain multiple dimensions of perception. So that's what about time and perception. So that's why I wanted to bring that to you, and hope you have a great week, and see you next Monday.